What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I did want to go over 5 rare cars I never thought I'd get as a new player in Forza Horizon 5. The first one here is going to be the new Lamborghini Countach. Now, I do know not everybody is going to be a fan of this car, at least what I think anyway. Like, some people might not like the way it looks or might not be the biggest fan of how the new Countach looks compared to like the old one and stuff. But I gotta admit, this is a really beautiful looking car. Funny part is I absolutely love this car back on Need for Speed Unbound, and it was also one of my personal favorites in the Crew Motorfest. So I was like, all right, well, I gotta get this car unlocked somehow in this game. I knew it was going to be a tad difficult. I knew I pretty much had to go into the auction house to get it, man. But the new Countach is going to be absolutely beautiful. If you guys do want this car again, I would recommend hanging out in the auction house for a bit. They were showing up, and what's kind of odd is I do know this car can sell for 20 million. But I was noticing I was somehow getting the car, or noticing a lot of them going for like 1.5 and stuff. So I guess it might be like a luck of the draw type of thing, how many there is going to be. But even then, guys, look at the interior here in the Countach. It looks absolutely insane. I would say one of my favorite things about this car is probably going to be the way, oh, there we go. But I did end up hearing that apparently the Countach was going to be very rare. So I'm like, all right, let me try my hand. Maybe I'll be able to get this car. Turns out I was pretty much in the auction house. I wasn't in there that long either because I was flipping through other cars and trying to get stuff. Does turn out, guys, I did end up getting the Countach fairly early. Look at this thing. It's so dang beautiful. And speaking of that, look at the interior view in this car, man. It looks so dang good. Now, one of the main reasons why I also really like this car is I have seen a few of them in person. When I did end up going down to Miami, they actually had 2 of these in the Miami dealership, which is Lamborghini. So you'd probably expect them to have a few of these. But, man, this car is so dang pretty, man. Like, it's absolutely insane. I really do feel like the new Countach was kind of like a really good mark, I guess you could say. Like, I think they did a great job with it. People might end up being mixed, but if you do want this car in Forza, though, man, it's going to be alongside of so many other amazing vehicles you can get. So if you are going to be a new player and you guys want the Countach, do not give up. I did manage to see, I think, 3 or 4 that day for around 1.2 million. I managed to snag this one, and I did end up failing on the other few I did end up seeing. But if you want it, though, it is going to be available in the auction house, but of course, it's probably going to be fairly rare. But moving over to the second car here on the list is going to be the GTA Spano. Maybe it's Spano, Spano. Either way, though, guys, I know for a fact this car is going to be on the rare side. Funny part is I did not even know this car was in the game. I was looking at some videos on Instagram and someone showed top 5 rare vehicles. I'm like, wait, that car's in the game, bro? The reason why I really wanted to get one of these, and I knew it was probably going to be difficult, I'm going to be honest, I think it took me, what was it, like an hour and 45 minutes. In that time frame, I saw 2 of them. I did fail the first one, but the second one I was able to get. I will show a screenshot of me buying the thing. I think I have that saved anyway. I think the car was around 400,000 or maybe around $1 million. It wasn't that expensive. It doesn't sell for a ton, but I do know this car is going to be rare. Now, people might be wondering, Blocked, why the GT8, bro? Like, this is such a weird car. We all do know a lot of people might not be the biggest fan of it, but here's the thing. This car, even though it was the older version of it, I absolutely loved this car back in Need for Speed Rivals. And who knows, I might end up being like a rare breed because I feel like a lot of people probably didn't drive this car that much in that game. Do let me know in the comments, did you guys drive the GTA Spano back in Rivals? I do know, once again, that's going to be the older version of this car, but man, this thing is so dope looking. Let me go jump into this thing real fast here and show this off. Now, one of the reasons why I did want to buy this car, though, is I am, for one, going after rare vehicles as a new player, but I'm also going after cars I am a fan of, and this is definitely going to be one of them. Funny part is, guys, I have a little story for y'all about this car. So I do live in Florida, which anybody is wondering about that. I am obviously going to be like in the area where there's a lot of cars and stuff. I am going to be like 3 or 4 hours from Miami, so there is going to be like a lot of cars there, including the Miami dealership. But it's probably been around, I think, maybe 4 or 5 years since I have seen this vehicle in the area that I do live in. There was something I thought was going to be a GTA Spano. It legit looked just like the one that was going to be in Rivals, kind of similar to this one a little bit. Wasn't going to have the big wing, but kind of had like the style of the one from Rivals, which I'll show you guys footage of that one in the background. I did log on to Rivals just to see that car again. The thing is, though, I was like, yo, that car is dope. So I did end up talking to that person. Turns out that thing was going to be a kit car. It was literally an Infiniti G37, I think. He opened it, showed me the interior. It was legit an Infiniti, guys. Did not even look like it from the outside. literally looked just like a GTA Spano. I was absolutely mind blown. But I've kind of always liked this car. I do know it's going to be very rare, but I feel like players might get this thing and probably not even drive it. People might even have this car and not even realize they even have it for that matter, but I do think the GTA is a pretty dope car, guys. I love the design of it. I feel like it's going to be something you most likely would never see anywhere, and it's going to be incredibly rare even in this game. I'm not sure when it came out, but I do know for a fact people were talking about this car a bit, and it's probably going to be fairly hard to get. I didn't think I was actually going to get one, to be honest, because I was like, alright, well, the GTA came out a while ago, bro. People aren't going to be selling this car. Went into the lovely auction house. I saw one. I'm like, man, I missed it. Ended up staying in there for over another hour until the next one showed up. I did end up getting that one. I was so dang stoked. Turns out, guys, I guess with a lot of patience, you really can get a lot of cars in the auction house, but I also understand why people don't want to sit in there for hours, because if you do see that car finally pop up, you still might not end up getting it. But now we are going to move over to vehicle number 3 here, and I'm going to be real, guys. This thing is turning into one of my favorite Mercedes, I think, ever, legit. This is going to be the AMG GT Black Series. This car is absolutely gorgeous. If you are wondering, this thing is going to be available in the auction house. Shocking, I would say, right? But this car is going to cost you, I think, maybe a max around 1.5 million if you can grab one. The reason for that is I was kind of struggling to grab one of these. I think it took me around 2 hours or so, pretty much going back and forth looking at it, then going over other vehicles and just hoping one would end up spawning in. Then there was like a time where like a wave where some would spawn in and I would literally lose all of them and go, man, I'm never going to get one of these. But the thing is, I was like, I'm persistent, let's not give up, and boom, here we are. Now some people might be wondering, well, Blocked, why the Black Series, man? What's so cool about this car? Bro, look at that motor, dude. That is absolutely wild. But one of the reasons why I do love this car a lot, for one, I really like this car a lot back in Need for Speed Unbound. I really was a fan of it. The other game, though, that really grew on me when I was driving it was going to be Gran Turismo 7. This thing not only sounded great on that game, it handled like an absolute dream. And I was like, you know what? I wonder if that car's in Forza. You know, I'm a new player, so I don't know. I did end up doing some research, and boom, the Black Series is in here. I'm like, all right, well, y'all know what that means. I did have to go after one, so I did end up finding this car. I left it orange. I didn't really change it that much. The reason for that might come down to, for one, this car, and also me being into orange is probably one of my favorite colors, so I left it that way. And I also think it really fits this car so dang well. I think in real life I've managed to see maybe one or two of these cars. They're very rare, but man, it's so dang beautiful. Guys, look at the interior for one. Like, look at the detail of this, man. It looks so good. I love the way you can see like the middle thing, like the G-force meter moving over there. So dang cool. I do think this thing is going to be all-wheel drive swapped. I think it's like a little build I threw on this car. I don't know if I'm going to leave it on there because I kind of like having it rear-wheel drive, but currently this car is going to be sitting at an S1 900 level, so it is pretty much going to be maxed out. I haven't raced it yet, but I can tell by the way this car handles, man, like it really is going to be so dang fun. It really feels like it's completely gripping. Now, I do know it is going to be all-wheel drive swapped. I might go back to rear and try to like tune the car a bit. I am planning to mess around with that more, so maybe I'll do that. But this thing feels like such a dream. I really do love it. When I was driving this car back in Gran Turismo 7, I did end up doing that final race in that game, which I think was like the longer championship. I think I did it legit 5 or 6 times in this car, bro. I was loving this car that much. The way it handled, the way this thing sounded, the way it shifts and stuff like that. It's just such an amazing vehicle. I really do think Mercedes absolutely killed this thing. And with that, though, if you're also going to be a fan of this car, I have to recommend to go after it. Now, I do know sniping one of these is probably going to be pretty difficult. I do know a lot of people really want this car, which I can understand why. I've been having issues even not driving this vehicle. Like, I jump on, I pretty much cruise around, I do races in it. I really do like the AMG a lot. And being an S1, this car seems very solid. Is it going to be the best overall S1 car in the game? Well, I have to do some testing on that, and I'm probably going to have some veteran players shine some light there, because honestly, I don't really know. But I would love to see this car show up in something like Motorfest, and I'm kind of surprised it's not in there. And if it was, it probably wouldn't even be that great. And on top of that, though, the way I do end up seeing is if this car was to be in TCM, they probably end up having something that looks like it, and it would most likely show up in a Summit. Maybe it would be the AMG GT Super Green Edition, am I right? But either way, though, guys, if you are a fan of Mercedes, you gotta go after this thing. It's so beautiful. All right, so now moving over to vehicle number 4, I have a feeling this one is probably going to be very shocking compared to showing like a Black Series and then like a GTA Spano and stuff. But no, guys, this is going to be the number 98 Elantra. This car is so dang dope. Now, I do want to give a little backstory. Bro, what in the world? Look at that engine bay, man. That is absolutely crazy looking. Okay, car people in the comments below, I don't know a ton about motors. Do let me know what that big blue thing is on the side with like the carbon fiber things. Again, I don't know what that is. I don't want to sound like that one video saying he's got like the shiny thingamajiggers going into the other thingamajigger because that's not going to make a lot of sense. But car people, do let me know what that is. Now, the side story to why I did want this car though is I've always been a fan of Hyundais. I do understand they have like a stigma around them about how like their engines are terrible and stuff and all that, but that was also me liking the Veloster N and stuff, and then also the Elantra N. I think they're dope, and this will end up being probably the closest car you can get to an Elantra N. Now, this is obviously going to be an Elantra N, like the race car version of it. Funny part is I was actually following someone that did used to race these. I think they're now racing like a type of electric vehicle, but man, the Elantra Ns are so dang dope looking, man. This is legit a race car version of it. Let me go into the interior, bro. That looks wild. Let me see. Let me see. There we go. Wow, look at that. Legit a race car, man. That is insane looking. Now, this car for me though, in order for me to buy this thing, I knew it was going to be expensive. I knew it wasn't going to be like a $20,000 vehicle. And I also kind of had a weird thought that maybe I was never going to get one because I do know the Elantra was rare. In fact, pretty early on, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I did end up getting one of the other cars I'm a big fan of, which is going to be the lovely i30N. I love that thing. I did end up buying the Veloster N, but that thing is obviously not special. You could just go in and buy it. Still going to be a great car, though. But I did have a feeling this car was also going to be pretty hard to find. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll try my luck. Maybe I'll be able to get one, guys. Turns out I was going in there. I lost two of them. Then I was able to get this one for $20 million. I was so dang stoked I was able to get it. And now driving this car, man, I am going to have it all-wheel drive swapped. I'm going to guess and say that probably isn't going to be the best car to race out there. At least it probably isn't. But I would say you can at least enjoy it, race around with this car because it feels amazing in all-wheel drive. I was going to leave this thing and having it in front wheel, but I don't know. I don't think it was going to do that great. And when you do increase the power in front wheel, it's probably going to hop and have all kinds of issues and stuff. At least I was noticing that with the Camry and also the Veloster. So I pretty much built them and have them at B level. They're super fun to drive there. Probably a lot more realistic to a standpoint. I did all-wheel drive swap this. I didn't engine swap it, left the stock motor in there. I was noticing when you were looking at like what you can put in there, I think you can put like an i4 like rally motor or something, which is kind of hilarious. But I'm like, let me leave it stock. I kind of like having the engine stock, guys. Don't get me wrong, I do engine swap vehicles here and there, but I don't know, man. I kind of like having the car being a bit more stock or like upgrading the actual like stock motor in there, kind of racing it as it is. I don't know why, I just like doing that. Like, don't get me wrong, like engine swapping's cool, but I just haven't been doing it all that much on certain vehicles. Now, I have some trolley builds, which I am going to have a video on some of the funny cars I also went after, which would be probably surprising. One of them is going to be a Nissan, so do stay tuned for that video. Might be like 3 or 4 cars in that one, but I did want to go over some funny cars I was also after. Overall, though, do let me know your thoughts on the number 98 Elantra in the comments below. Do you guys have it? Are you going to get this car? Do you like it? I feel like it's probably going to be kind of mixed, and I feel like many players might not end up wanting to spend $20 million on something like this. But now moving over to the final car here is going to be the Koenigsegg CCGT. Now I'm probably going to guess and say right now that many people are going to be like, what dude? This car is kind of random. I mean, I did end up showing a Countach and then I showed like the GTA Spano, then I did end up showing something like the Elantra N race car thing. But this is going to be the CCGT. Now there's a few reasons why I really wanted this car. I mean, for one, guys, it is literally going to be a racing Koenigsegg. I mean, look at it, bro. It looks absolutely insane. Plus, this was legit one of my favorite cars back in the Crew 2, and I also was a big fan of this thing in Motorfest, but funny part is I liked it more in the Crew 2, and I was thinking about the CCGT. I'm like, yo, is this car even in the game? Turns out it was, and I was like, all right, well, let me go jump into the auction house and stuff, and I kind of had a feeling it wasn't going to be that easy to find, guys, and I was having a few issues, but I was like, you know what, let me not give up. Let me keep trying out. I saw one that popped up for like $1 million. I'm like, all right, well, maybe there'll be another one. Turns out a second one did end up popping up again. Now, this one was going to be around $8 million. I think the max buyout on this car is like 8.2, which again, I will show a screenshot of the thing of me buying this car there. I did end up spawning over here. Not exactly where I wanted to spawn in, but that'll work. Either way, though, guys, the CCGT for me, though, really is going to be a pretty crazy car. Also, yeah, I should probably turn on my TC, shouldn't I? Because this thing is rear-wheel drive. I did not change it. I wanted to leave it completely stock here. At least I didn't want to put anything insane like that. Again, one thing I did want to mention here, speaking of that, and that's kind of why I said again, because I wanted to explain this if anyone was wondering. I do know a lot of people are going to be like, yo, dude, do you do engine swaps and stuff like that? And yes, I do. But I also, for some odd reason, like the way stock cars feel. Guys, look at this thing, bro. Look at the interior. I love how the thing's actually digital, and the lights work. I love the detail in Forza because of that. And that was a funny thing is when I first started driving cars in this game, that was probably one of the first things I noticed. I was like, oh, look, the lights actually work. I noticed that in the Veloster and some of the Ferraris and stuff, and now even the CCGT, you can see the light there. Now, I do know some people are going to be like, I mean, those details don't matter, but if you are going to be into cars, man, I kind of think they're going to. When I was playing something like Motorfest, most of the cars still don't work, and they didn't work back in the Crew 2 with that stuff, which is a tad frustrating because I know Motorfest's like a more upgraded version, so I was kind of expecting more detail, but I guess it isn't going to be in there. Now, the CCGT in this game, for me, this thing is going to be an S2, guys. I'm going to be real. This car is legitimately insane. It's going to feel absolutely incredible with its handling. Now, sure, you could probably make fun of me. I'm using TC and stuff like that, but I am not going to have a tune on it. This thing is literally stock, and the reason why I left it stock is I did want to drive it, try it out, and I was like, yo, no, this car is crazy. That's also why I did want to include this thing in this video. Now, I thought this was going to be my last one of the rare cars I got, but I'm going to be real, guys. There is going to be more of them, some of which are also going to be a video on 4 different rare Porsches I wanted to go after, and another video on some more rare cars I also was trying to get. But I gotta admit it, guys, I feel like a lot of people are going to want the CCGT. Now, I did end up hearing that apparently this car is very rare, and a lot of players are trying to get it, but they can't seem to get one. When I saw this car pop up, I was like, yo, spam the button. I was legit spamming triangle so hard. I then did end up moving it down and hit buyout, and boom, buyout successful. I was like, yo, let's go. I can't wait to drive this thing. I jumped in the car. I was like, there's no way. This car is so dang dope. Easily probably going to be one of the funnest S2 cars I've drove so far. It handles so great. It's going to be stock. It sounds amazing. I love the way the CCGT looks. And if you guys are trying to get this thing, the biggest thing I can say coming from somebody who finally got one, do not give up because they're going to pop up. I would say keep going after them. You will eventually get one. Do let me know some of the rare cars you got, and also if y'all do have some of the cars I do end up having in this video. And the insane part is there is still a few more I want to go after.